Anna Yum, criminal defense attorney. So the dad is trying to make it seem like they're not crazy, they're not hallucinating, they're not acting in a bizarre fashion. They were smoking pot, and somehow the cops end up taking the kids away. Do you buy it?
Jane, let me just say this. First of all, I've been handling drug cases as a former prosecutor and as a defense attorney. Smoking pot does not cause this kind of reaction. Smoking pot alone will not cause this bizarre behavior. I mean, if anyone is questioning whether they were mentally ill at the time, just look at a photo of their mugshots, and I think that would eliminate all doubt. Okay, what we're talking about are so many bizarre statements. I mean, I know that Sharon Haken was saying that she was a ninja in the witness protection program, and that he had to beat her to beat out evil spirits. I mean, at this point, Jane, I'm questioning whether, not only whether they were legally sane or insane at the time, but their mental competence to stand trial. It's just bizarre. It could be a movie.
So, Brian Claypool, criminal defense attorney, can they mount, do you think, a successful defense saying, look, we're good parents, we have no criminal record, family services has never been called, we're engineers, we're on a trip to Louisiana, yeah, we had some pot, but and weapons. But I mean, look how many people walk around with weapons in this country, and look how many people smoke pot. Do you think they could perhaps launch a successful defense saying they weren't doing anything really out of the ordinary, and their kids were taken from them without warrant?
Jane, absolutely. I mean, they're paranoid because they think the government came in and took their kids without any probable cause. I actually have a case out here in California against Orange County Child Protective Services where a child was taken, and I got so many emails after that from people across the country where they're telling me, hey, CPS services have taken my child, they don't have evidence. And I found out that in some states there is a financial incentive for CPS to take children and then place them into foster care. They get more federal funding. So I can see these parents.
Oh, come on.
You don't buy it, do you?
I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. How many of these cases resulted in somebody at gunpoint? They had so many other chances, so many other choices.
You're smoking pot.
The minute they took those children with a gun is the moment they lost concept of how to keep their children safe. There's so many other choices than bringing a gun to a household and holding somebody at gunpoint.
Look at his eyes.
No prior criminal record. They both have great jobs.
I think the major question here is what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did they have delusions before they started using drugs, or did they use drugs as a way to self-medicate the delusions? I think it's a viable question.
On the other side, we're going to continue this debate. We're just getting started. There's another twist. Does the mom have a lover?
What about the possibility of, right, Jane, what about the possibility of Stockholm Syndrome? What if she was a battered wife? What if she's in a situation here where she was under coercion, that he battered her and that he abused her, and he basically brainwashed her to thinking, well, you know what, I have an attachment to my abuser, so therefore I'm not going to go and defend myself. I'm going to do whatever he says. I mean, that's something that definitely should be taken into consideration, and I applaud Mr. Camareno for having her be evaluated, not just for purposes of mental illness, but also to see if she is a victim of battered wife syndrome or, you know, Stockholm Syndrome. Because
that's exactly why I had that done.
Definitely possible, for sure.
Yeah, and let's face it, straight out to the lion's den, the big news is that People magazine reporting cops found notes along with the gun inside the car where they believe the husband was shot. So you hear notes, your first thought is, well, maybe suicide, but of course, and I'll throw this out to Brian Claypool, criminal defense attorney, people don't riddle their own body with bullets and then dump themselves in a field and dispose of the car elsewhere. So I don't think it could be suicide. What else could it mean?
Well, Jane, you're right about that, but I got news for you. It's probably not Janae Chance either, and I'll tell you why. She had DNA testing done. She had fingerprints taken from her. So you tell me how she drives the car out to the field, shoots her husband, writes up a couple notes, puts the shell casings under the seat mat, puts the note in the trunk, drives the car back, gets out, walks home, and there's none of her DNA in the car and none of the DNA on the body. You tell me that the cops have a problem with this case.
Wow.
They don't have any
well,
forensic or physical evidence.
Yeah, and they could have a legal problem, as in lawsuit, because remember, they have splattered her name all over in connection with this very vicious killing.
I'm a civil rights lawyer, and she needs to be hiring a
Absolutely.
civil rights lawyer for false arrest.
Well, guess what?
You know what?
We've got her. Go ahead, Anna Young.
She's been saying the entire time that she adamantly defends herself. She's innocent, and her actions are corroborating what she's saying. Brian is absolutely right. What kind of guilty person would subject themselves and say, okay, law enforcement, I am going to give you my DNA swab. I'll let you check for fingerprints, knowing that a prosecution could be pending. I mean, this woman,
a brilliant one, that's who.
No debt, no criminal history, right? And we still have students who have a
Well, that means nothing. No criminal history means nothing in terms of crimes of passion, you know, because you don't have like 3 crimes of passion. But let me say this: we've got the attorney